Hello, and welcome back. In this video, we'll talk about the Matlab documentation and the Matlab help command, as well as how you can get help and the resources that are out there to help you with coding in Matlab in general. So one of the most convenient things about Matlab is the documentation. I find that the documentation is very helpful whenever I need to look something up, figure out what I'm doing wrong, how to work with something. The Matlab documentation is super helpful in figuring out how to fix my issues. But the first step to that process is the help command. So for instance, in the command window, I can type the word help and then any command from Matlab and see what pops up. So let's try for, like for loops. So this spits out a giant list of things about what the for loop does. Right, general statement is for variable expression, statement, end. Here's what happens, here's what it does, here's how for loops work. You can nest them. You can do different step sizes, do different lists. All the ways you can use it are all here. And this is great. It's a lot of initial information that might be just what you need to get going. Right, here's a quick example. Maybe you just forgot the syntax. And here's the example, write in your code and move on. Or maybe you want a more complicated thing, like say help for ODE45, which is one of the most commonly used numerical methods for solving differential equations in Matlab. There's a lot of text here. It doesn't help that the font's really big, but it gives you some basic ideas of how you can call it, what it can do, how it works. All that stuff is all listed here, as well as an example of how to make it work. Also, related functions if you want some related stuff. As one more example, we can check out any methods that are pre-written for you in the directory here. So if I type, say, help quiver 244, it spits out a block of text, which is the same as the block of text at the top of this file if you look inside this here. That's why the code is structured this way. The help command actually pulls things up. Let's go back to ODE45 for a second. What if this is not enough for you? What if you need more information or this doesn't, or it's hard to read this even? Well, there's this neat thing of this link to the reference page for ODE45 right here. If I click on that, that pops up a separate window with the Matlab documentation on it. You can also find this online, which I will show in a moment. But now you have the documentation here for Matlab as well. Now it's the same information, but slightly better formatted, more information here. You can click around to other methods as well from this page. It's got some more examples, some more plots that it's showing. All of this now shows up here as well. Some fun stuff there in this method. So a lot of detail is right here, ready for you if you need some help going through things. A lot of this can also be found just online as well. If I just Google ODE45 Matlab, I get a link to the exact same page we saw in the documentation. It's now called the Help Center, but it's the exact same page with all the information here as well. I can read through this, I can find examples, I can go and play with things. I can see whatever I need to do to fix my problem right from this window here. I've always found the documentation here super helpful for figuring out how to actually solve whatever problems I have with my coding issues. And lastly, you can just Google stuff as well. It's a lot more helpful if you have specific questions, like there's a certain issue you're having that you're not sure how to solve it, and you can find like a Stack Exchange or some other resource online that has people who have worked this out before and work with it from there. That can also be helpful, but it's kind of a last resort beyond the help and the documentation that's available, as well as asking your instructor to help you with the code as well, because that should work out as well. As one last comment about Matlab stuff in general, there will be 2 toolboxes required for the labs for this course. The symbolics toolbox and the optimization toolbox. You can get those by going to the home screen of Matlab here, going into add-ons, managing add-ons, and then finding the toolbox in there. You can also get it by just running the code that's going to require it, and then Matlab will prompt you to download the appropriate toolbox that you need. These are all free. They are all included with your Matlab subscription in general, and so you'll be able to get them, install them, and then the code will run correctly for those different assignments. So that's basically what you need out of Matlab and how to use the help function and the documentation to be able to work out any issues that you have with your code. You can also always ask your instructor or anyone else for help in guiding you through these labs as well.